So welcome back.
Welcome
to
back.
The N Squared Tech Attack Neil and Hugo show.
Yay.
Another episode. Now I've got a question for you, Hugo.
Okay.
So a few years ago I bought a Samsung UMPC.
Yep.
I thought the origami project was a pretty cool project,
Yep.
and UMPCs are, they're kind of cool, and I actually used the UMPC for a while. The UMPC now sits on my desk kind of gathering dust. I have actually tried to put Windows 7 on it. It runs okay.
Yeah,
It's probably better than the Vista experience was on it, but I still don't use it.
Yep.
I have, a smartphone, and pretty much everything I need that's super mobile is on my smartphone.
Yep.
I have my laptop. I do have an iTablet still. So, why do I need a UMPC? Should I just throw it away? What can I use it for? What good is it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely in my eyes, there's still a lot of success around UMPCs. Where I've found that there's sweet spots is where people really want to take their desk and make it mobile immediately.
Right.
So where they want to take the Windows application that was sitting on their desk and just view it on the road, that to me is a sweet spot for these devices. No matter which smartphone you have, there's always a compromise in viewing size, in restricted richness, so interaction, limited features and function, and then not to mention if you're actually rolling this out, for example, a business, you've got the development costs around smartphone development versus just grabbing your desktop app and putting it straight on.
For a kind of line of business type environment where they've already built a Windows application,
correct,
or got a web application optimized for a larger screen,
that's right, yep,
then UMPC makes more sense.
I think so. It still makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't tout the project as a demise in any way. If you look at netbooks, a lot of their success is around the fact that they're providing a low-cost solution with a low-feature set.
I'm curious, what do you think most people do with netbooks? Because I actually don't think they should be called netbooks.
What do you think they should be called?
Facebooks.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, it seems to me that's what most people do with netbooks, right? Is Facebook, a bit of IM, maybe some Skype.
Some Skype, yeah. And I think that's right, and I think that's a clever understanding of it, because at the end of the day, it's a secondary, tertiary device. It's not exactly set up to be a primary machine. Now, what's happening is that where the origami project seemed to have failed is that they didn't hit that price sweet spot.
Right.
So what we did in acceptance of the netbook and Facebooks is actually come up with a reason to get into a sub notebook device, because the price was so low. So the customer said, why wouldn't I do it? It's just $3.99, $6.99. Basically, you put that on any credit card, and you still
European price is $1.99.
$1.99, and you put that on any credit card, and no one stresses out about it. Where the problem was when the origami came out, it was twice that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's funny is that to me is that I see netbooks as a featureless, sort of dull computing environment. I really I don't own one. I've never owned one. My son had one and got rid of it within weeks, because it's featureless once you get used to touch.
Not even enough features for an 8-year-old.
Not even enough features for an 8-year-old, especially when you get used to touch or pen or that sort of level of interaction. So what's happening is netbook manufacturers are up-speccing the netbooks to become a UMPC.
Right.
So what they're sneaking in is the features like touch, features like swivel screens.
So people get attracted by the $3.99 price, and then they go, yeah, but I want that feature and 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 that feature, that feature and that feature, and it's $7.99. Oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So for me, I think the origami was mistimed and also miscommunicated.
So it's too far ahead of its time.
A little bit ahead of its time, and obviously it's a critical mass there as to how manufacturers are able to support consumers with a cheap device and the amount of features that consumers deserve and require. So now the netbooks has made volume much higher, so manufacturers can now up-spec netbooks, whereas they couldn't down-spec origami. So it's kind of like that marrying point. And what you'll find is the origami devices that came out when we first got involved will sort of make a revamp in a year's time from now. That's how I feel about it. So I feel it's just
they'll reappear, but maybe with slightly faster processor, a little bit more memory.
Whether you call them UMPC, origami, mid, or netbook or Facebooks, it really doesn't matter. That's all marketing jargon. as long as you have a little sub notebook with a touchscreen, some form of powerful processor, and some interaction that allows you to do, as you say, those popular applications, and then a little bit more, then you'll find that there'll be always.
But really, it sounds like it's very price driven rather than feature driven.
Seems to be, yeah.
And so, you know, and in fact, a lot of them are way cheaper. You could probably buy 4 of them for the price of a top-end smartphone, right?
Yeah.
So there's another reason, I guess, to go
right.
for the, you know, and when you're in the luxurious position of having both a smartphone and a UMPC,
Yep.
then you kind of go, well, that fits in my pocket. That doesn't quite fit in my pocket.
Yep.
You probably got bigger pockets than me.
I've got customized pockets, right?
Especially for UMPCs. But so I pick up the smartphone and I leave the UMPC. But yeah, if I didn't have a choice and I was, you know, only had one of those devices and on a tighter budget, then definitely UMPC would probably make more sense.
And I mean, also maybe I'll ask you this, right? If your UMPC was between 5 and 7 inches and was a quarter of an inch thick, or you know, a centimeter thick at the most, and it was a decent processor and had battery life of, let's say, 11 hours, would you use your UMPC more often?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I think it's really the sweet spot that we have the luxury of not being a manufacturer, and we're a consumer. So we're allowed to now go between iPhone being our number one thing. But if you made a 7-inch type iPhone, which is nice and thin like that, and had 11, 12, 15 hours battery, you might look at your phone and go, I'm not taking the phone. I'm taking the 7-inch crisp, rich
well, you'd
display.
probably take both, but the rich display would be good for reading or watching videos or that kind of
might win over
entertainment.
more often, right?
Right.
So then the conversation might be, you know, a year from now, it might be, you know,
Why do I need a smartphone?
Why do you need your smartphone? Yeah, you know, remember those things we used to carry? Ha ha ha. You know, it's just funny how the world works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if it was roll up.
Yeah, I mean, before, you know, you might have said that we crack up, and now you and I both know that's coming. You know,
Right.
so if it was roll up and fold up, and it went here. And so you got onto a plane, you just basically shook it like a napkin and it went, and it went rigid, you know. How cool would that be, you know?
Yeah.
And you might then look at your phone and go, no, I'm not taking the phone today.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Hopefully that solves that then.
I'm still none the wiser, but
Yeah, exactly.
and I'll still take my smartphone.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks,
and
Hugo.
I'll still take my UMPC.